Hi guys, welcome to So Crafty Nana. My name is Teresa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And today I have another Christmas card for you. This is a card that capitalizes on all the beautiful designer series papers that you have, specifically 12 by 12 designer series paper. As I know, as the catalog is starting to retire or retires at the end of the year, I look at all my stacks of paper and realize that I still have some that I have full sheets of that I would love to be able to use. And so this card is, I'm going to show you some Christmas versions, but it's for all year round. And I have to give a shout out to Connie Stevens at simplysimplestamping.com, and I'll put that here on the screen. Connie is the one that I learned this technique from. I think she put out a video last winter, spring, somewhere around there. I have used this card from birthdays, sympathy, missing you, thank you. I've used this card for a lot of occasions. So let me just show you the one of the ones that I have for today. So this is the card, and this is what I'm calling a V pocket card, and it has this insert that just slides right out and slides right back in. And I'm going to talk to you about some other things that you can do with this card as well. This is the version that we're going to make today, but when we go down to my table, I'm going to show you some other ones that I have, both Christmas and non-Christmas. And I'll talk to you about all of the products that I'm using in these. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button. I post once a week right now, and this is going to be my last Christmas video. Next week I've got something with some new product that's coming out in January that I'm going to show you. And my videos are more about technique than the product. So even if you don't have these designer series papers, some of them are already out of stock, retiring at the end of the year, this concept can be used with any 12 by 12 pretty paper that you have. So, and it uses very little cardstock. So very, very nice card and super easy to make. So I'm going to have a diagram for you that I'll put up on the screen once we go down to my desk. And I'll also have all of this information with the diagram, the measurements, how I made each one of the cards that I'm going to show you today. I'll have all of that over on my blog. So down in the description box, you will find my blog post linked. That's all of the specific cards that I'm going to show you today. So if you need to know any of the products used, they'll be over there on my blog. I think that's all I have to tell you. So I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to take you down to my desk and we'll get started. All right, so here are the 4 cards that I have to show you today. So this is one we're going to make similar to this. And then this one is another beautiful paper with the cherry cobbler foiling on it. And I decorated the inside of this one just a little bit up in the corner. So there's another example. And then this example is more of a whimsical with the warm wishes. Again, I did decorate the inside with some snowflakes and some embellishments. And there's that one. Now this one, you'll notice I did not put a mat on the insert, so that's an option for you. You don't have to put another cardstock mat. You can just use your white or vanilla in there. And there's that one. And I love this gold. And then here's a non-Christmas version that I made. This paper is actually a celebration paper that's going to be available January 4th. It's free with a $50 or more purchase. So it's one of the options for celebration, and I just thought it was beautiful. As a demonstrator, we were able to do some pre-ordering of specific items, and I just loved this paper. So it's a beautiful pack of paper. And then on this one, I just left the card blank because I'm not really sure who I'm going to send it to. And so I can either add a sentiment stamped in there, or I can just write a note if I wanted to. So the other thing I wanted to just talk about really quickly while I've got these on the screen is
These are really ideal for just kind of having them set back like this one. Have it set back so that when you have an occasion, you can pull it out for any occasion. So for example, this one, you know, maybe someone had a special happy event that happened to them, or maybe I want to send a gift card to someone to just say, you know, thanks, I really appreciate you for something that they did. This would be an ideal card, and I could just slip a gift card in behind it. So I just wanted to give you that idea because there's plenty of room in here that you could slip a gift card in there. You could even, if you wanted to, use a couple of glue dots and stick a gift card at the bottom. So that's another option. So it's kind of a gift card holder that's nothing special as a gift card holder, if that makes sense. Another thing I wanted to say is, you know, at Christmas time, I know families a lot of times send a photo with their Christmas card. This is ideal for that. You can slip a photo in behind. So if you've got those kids' school photos or whatever, you can stick it in behind and then send it that way. So those are just a couple of additional ideas that I had with these. Now, I've used these cards many times for many occasions, and so those are just some of the things that I've thought of. I'm sure there's other things. Another thing I just wanted to point out is you'll notice that on these, I just used a stamped greeting cut out with the hexagon, and this one I used a die cut. So those are just options. You can, if you didn't want a greeting on the outside, you could totally just decorate it with florals or any kind of die cuts that you have. And you can use any shape on the outside that you want to. What else? And then another thing is I decorated on the inside on some of these, but you could totally decorate out here as well if you have sort of a less busy paper like this one. I could totally have put some embellishments on the outside of this one. So just another idea. It's really mainly meant to be for these beautiful papers to showcase them, but if you have something that's more muted, you could also decorate that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make one similar to this. I don't have any of this particular designer series paper left, but I have one that's similar. So we're going to use the one that's similar, and we're going to recreate this card with a similar paper. So we set those out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead first, before we get started, I'm going to pull in and I'll put up on the screen a diagram. So this is the cutting diagram, and this is over on my blog. So if you just go over, the link is down below in the description. If you go over to my blog post, you will be able to find this diagram. My words are difficult. You'll find this diagram over there, which shows you how to cut the 6 by 12 inch piece of paper, and then how to cut off those corners, and then cut off those little rectangles at the bottom. Now I'm going to be doing this because I did not prep anything for this. I wanted to show you how quick and easy this is. So actually the only thing I did prep was the die cut. But other than that, I didn't prep any of the paper. So we're going to do all the cutting and scoring so that you'll see that as we go along. So this is the paper that I'm going to use. Again, it's from the Oh Holy Night collection, the same as the one that I had in my sample, but this is just a little bit different because it has the stars at the top. It still has a neutral background, so that inside part will still be neutral. And then I just have some scraps that we'll cut down for our hexagon and our card base or insert, and then my ribbon. And then I wanted to just show you really briefly how I did the die cut. So this is a die cut from the Night Divine set. We're going to be using a stamp from this Night Divine set. But I have the bundle, so I have the dies as well. And this particular die is what I used to cut it out. It's a beautiful die of the manger scene. And then what I did, because I only wanted the Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus, is I just cut them apart. And then I could really use maybe one of these shepherds on the inside to decorate my insert. So I just wanted to show you that. I did go ahead and prep that ahead of time just so I didn't have to go off camera to die cut. So let me grab my paper trimmer, and we're going to get started with trimming this down. So first off, I want to talk about direction. So when you are cutting your paper, you need to make sure you're cutting it on the horizontal if your paper is directional. If you cut it like this, it's going to be sideways. So you want to make sure you're cutting the horizontal so you have your top and your bottom this way. So I'm just going to cut mine in half at 6 inches on my paper trimmer. And we'll set this starry sheet aside. And we're going to be using this one as our card today. So then the next thing I want to do is along the bottom edge, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. So I'm scoring, not cutting, at 1/2 inch. Sorry if I shake the table doing this. There we go. So I've got a nice score line down at the bottom. And then I'm going to, let me extend my arm on my trimmer. Then I'm going to score again at 8 1/8. If I can see that 1/8, there we go. Again, scoring. And then I'm going to also score at 3 7/8. So right here, that little spot before the 4. Again, sorry if I'm shaking the camera. So that's all of the scoring that we're going to be doing. And so we have to cut off these corners, and then we have to cut off these rectangles. So you've got 3 rectangles at the bottom. You're going to cut the side 2 off, and you're just going to miter this center one. So just angle cut it a little, just so that it folds up a little bit easier. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I like to do that before I do the angle. It just helps me to line that up better in the trimmer. This is so hard to see in the camera lights, so bear with me here. I'm going to cut it this way instead of the other way. I can see it better this way. And you just want to try to cut as straight as you can. And that's scrap. So you see how I did that? And we're just going to do the same thing over here. And these angles don't have to be exact. Nobody's going to see them. They're going to be on the inside of the card. I just have such a hard time seeing that line. There we go. All right. So there's my 2 bottom cuts that I needed to make. And then the next cuts we're going to make are on the trimmer. Now you could do this, draw a line, you could turn it over, draw a line, and do that cut, but I'm just going to do it on the trimmer. I've done enough of these that I can do that. So what we're doing is we're lining up this point where we just trimmed off that rectangle into the groove, and then we're taking this score line, the corner of the score line, and we're lining that up in the groove. So we've got this and this lined up so that they will cut off that that triangle. I'm getting my shapes mixed up too. So one of the things that I'm going to give you a tip, you never want to cut into a corner because you could bunch it up. So you either want to start in the middle like this and go outwards, or you could, in this case, because this is flat, you could come down that way. But I cut that off, and then we're just going to flip this around and do exactly the same thing. We're going to line this one up in the track, line the point up in the track. Make sure I've got that one in there, and then we're going to cut that off. And these triangles you could use on another card front. Certainly use this side, and you could put those on a card front. I don't know, somehow. But they're nice scraps, so I'm going to save them, and we could use them as a design on a card. I think, oh, we do have a little bit more cutting to do because my scraps are not the right size. So I need to cut my inserts. So since I am matting this, my biggest insert is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to trim that down to 4 by 5 1/4. All right. So that's going to be my mat for my insert. And then this one is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so there we go. So I used up those 2 scraps. So that's going to be my insert, and I'm going to do stamping before I put those together. And that is all the cutting we need to do. So I'm going to get rid of my trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and get started on assembling this card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the hexagon just so I have all my pieces done. So this is the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch. The Heartfelt Hexagon is a bundle, punch and stamp set bundle that is currently available. It's actually going to be in our January mini catalog, but they made it available, Stampin' Up! Made it available for World Card Making Day in October. So you can find this online in the online exclusives. You can get the punch, you can get the stamp set, or you can get the bundle. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut one of these out of my scrap. And then that's gonna be for our front. And then that's all I need that punch for. Okay, so we have all our parts and pieces. Let me pull these over. And we're gonna start with our card base. And we're going to fold and burnish on our score lines, just like you do on any card. And you can see pretty well how this card comes together. I'm going to fold this one up. All right, so I'm going to put this in this orientation. So I've got my flap folded up, and that's where we're going to put some adhesive, our first set of adhesive. You could use tear and tape, you can use multi-purpose glue, whatever you want. I'm just going to use some Seal Plus, just because that's quick and easy for me. And I'm going to put that Seal Plus down, and it doesn't matter which side you fold in first, you decide what you want to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and fold in this right side, my right side. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply some adhesive at the bottom of this one and do exactly the same thing. Just fold that in over top, and we have our V pocket card all done. Very cute. So now we're going to work on our insert. I want to stamp on my insert, and on my sample you'll notice that I stamped below the V so that the Lord is my shepherd did not show. On this one I want to go ahead and stamp it at the top. I want that to show. So that's something that you have to think about when you're doing any stamping on your insert or decorating, is that whatever is above your embellishment on the outside is going to show. So you can decorate it. I've done some where I've just done florals at the top, and then I've done my sentiment or written on the inside. But on this one, I thought it would be nice to just put the Lord is my shepherd up here where it shows up above the scene. So this stamp, again, is from that Night Divine set that I showed you earlier. And I'm going to use copper clay because that's what I cut my die cut out of. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this on here. It's not upside down. And I'm just going to try to get it somewhat centered at the top. And we have two sides to that cardstock. If it's not, well, it's not, but I could maybe put some embellishments there. So I'm going to keep it. I think that's good enough. We'll set that aside. So there's that, and now I can go ahead and attach it to my mat. And I'm just going to do that with a little bit of seal. And you just have that nice little border around it. Okay, and then one last thing I need to do with this insert is I'm going to use the slit on my Very Best Trios punch. You can certainly just use a hole punch, any hole punch you have, but I need to put something at the top where I can put my ribbon through. So I'm going to do that. And now I have a slit, and we're going to go ahead and put my ribbon through. Now this is a copper metallic ribbon. It's very slippery, it's very delicate, and I find that when you put it in this way, it comes loose really easily. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie it in a knot for this one. We're just going to slide it through. Oops, maybe, possibly, hopefully. There we go. Slide it through and tie it in a knot. And I want to pull my tails towards the top. Oh, that didn't work. All right. My knot is not wanting to cooperate. I will mess with that off camera. I'm not going to take up time to get that fixed. But we're going to go ahead and trim those tails just at an angle. And I am not one of these people that has to have mine angled the right way. You do you. I am just not. So mine are just cut. All right, so there's my insert, all finished, unless I want to put some embellishments, and we'll think about that. And then I just need to do this last piece. So for this one, you have some options. On my sample, I put the die cut up on dimensionals, and then I put the hexagon flat. I think this time I'm going to do it the opposite, and I'm going to put some glue on here. Just dot some glue. I'm trying not to get glue on my fingers, because in my last video I got glue on my fingers and I couldn't get anything to let go. So I'm going to try really hard not to. And I'm going to line up the manger with the center, or at least try to line up the manger with the center like that. That looks pretty good. And then to put this up on dimensionals, you have to remember that you've got this opening. So I want to put this up here, but I can't put any adhesive in that V or I'm going to close my card up. So what I've found to be easiest is to just put my dimensionals here. And so I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and I'm just going to use 3 dimensionals, 1 on each side and 1 down at the bottom. And then I'm going to put my die cut right in there, like that. There you go. And we're going to slide our insert in and see how that looks. Oh, I love that. I love having that "The Lord is my shepherd" up above it. I think I like that better than the first one. And then the last thing I'm going to do is embellish it. So I have these are the 2023, 2025 in color dots. I've used a lot of them, but I think I'm going to use these copper clay, and I'm thinking here, I think I do want one up there. Actually, I don't know if I want more than that. So let me grab find my take your pick tool. Well, I don't know where my, oh, this is my putty one. Okay, this will work if my putty's good. I think I just want a medium-sized one. These are really stuck here. I think I want a medium-sized one up there. I am going to fix that ribbon so that it is out of my way. And then I think I might just put a couple, you know what? I don't know if I want any more than that. I think I might just leave that. I'll think about it. I always think about my cards afterwards and make some changes, but I think for today, that's going to be it. So there's my sample for today. I love this with the words up there. I wish I'd have centered it better, but hey, it's good enough. And I'll be able to write a note to someone. So let me bring in my other ones again so you can see them all together. Try and get them all in here in the view. So you can see how this card came together really simply and quickly without a lot of prep. If I hadn't done the die cut, we would have just done another stamp, so it wouldn't have taken any extra time. Beautiful card, really quick and simple, and lots of uses for it. So I really hope you'll give this one a try. See how it goes, see if you like it. I'd also love to hear from you of how you use up all of your beautiful designer series paper. How do you showcase it in your cards? You know, what types of layouts do you do, or folds do you do for your cards? I'd love to hear. So leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Let me know if you think you're going to use this one, because I love it. It's my go-to. I pull it out all the time. I really appreciate you joining me today. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate that. If you hit the subscribe button, click that bell as well, and you'll be notified when I put up another video. I'm putting up one video a week right now. And my next one is going to show you a little technique with a new stamp that's coming out that I'm really excited about. So I hope you'll join me for that. And again, thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.